Welcome to Driving the Lane with Randy Kraayenbrink and Chuck Rowe. Now, Driving the Lane.
Welcome to Driving the Lane. Randy Kraayenbrink, Chuck Rowe, the show where we talk mostly about one thing and one thing only, and that is
Panther basketball.
Now, it's important that we remind you that even though we are the official UNI basketball show for the Panther Collective, our comments may not reflect the feelings of our friends at UNI. However, Randy is a former player, and I saw the Panther men score 100 points this weekend, so this show is as official as it's going to get. Do you think I can do that every game? That would be amazing.
I told PJ I was with PJ last night for a brief bit, and I told him, I said, if you score 100 points, it's going to be hard to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, just keep scoring 100 points, see what happens.
So when you asked PJ, what happened that game for everyone to come alive offensively, what was his answer?
Wow, he didn't really have an answer. He just said that the first half they came out lights out, and I don't know if it was in their breakfast. I have no idea, but they played really, really well. So that was fun to watch. Good.
Maybe
for the
it's
Panthers
like Notre Dame. Like before a game, they go into the McLeod Center, but before they do, they stop at the Hall of Fame and they see Randy Kraayenbrink's picture there. And then everyone just taps it before they go start the game.
I doubt that's it, but I'll ask PJ about it. Okay.
Oh yeah. Next hard question for him. You'll have to ask him. So
yes, I will.
Well, as always, we have a great show for everyone this week. Joining us today, Maya McDermott. We have the Panther Collective questions of the week, and of course, the Financial Architects quote of the week. Let's get started. Randy, excited to have with us today. Drum roll, please. Maya McDermott, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, I know you're saddened by this, but like finals being done for most people, classes being done, are you saddened by the fact that you get several weeks off now?
I would say the word is relieved for sure. I think I was actually taking 18 credits this semester, so I was like having a huge workload of stuff. So kind of having that done now and being done with school for about a month is like really relieving, and now we can just focus on basketball.
Yeah, very good. So let's talk about academics for a second. So what was your least favorite class of the semester, and what was your most favorite class of the semester?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Okay, I'm gonna say the same class for both answers, and this is why.
Wow.
I took a digital media analysis class, and the only reason I didn't like it is because it was a lot of reading. I'm not a big reader, but I did like it because it pushed me to be outside my comfort zone in my box. So I didn't like it because it was a lot of reading, but it pushed me to be like a better student and kind of get outside my comfort zone. So I would say digital media analysis.
Digital media. So is that something you want to go into someday when you grow up?
Yeah, when I was younger, I always loved like making videos, trying to have my friends be like actors and being these. I was like a really creative kid, and I've always loved the digital media world. And kind of growing up in our society now, everything's done through the phone,
Right.
unfortunately. But I just have always loved media, and I think I'm a very personable person. And I like to connect with people, and digital media leadership is my major. So I thought that kind of combining the two, being a leader outside of basketball, has really pushed me to be a better person. And I think it's going to do me good in the real world.
Now, most players, before they go to college, they put together a little mixtape so they could kind of send it to folks, and the videos, I guess mixed videos. I don't know what you call them these days. I guess I'm old school, Randy. So did you make your own videos, or did you hire someone else?
I didn't. I throughout high school, I kind of did. Some of my friends did it for me, whether that was like mixtapes for basketball or stuff like that. I would only do my own work like in school, but like mixtapes, as far as basketball goes, I would have other people do those for me.
I love how someday there's going to be this future employer that's going to be doing a Google search for you, and they're on the verge to hiring you, and then they watch this video and say, "Oh, she doesn't really love to read. Never mind."
Oh gosh, I know I might have put myself in a bad position saying that, but yeah, I've never been a reader.
Yeah.
I love movies. I like visually seeing things. So I mean, I've never really tried an audiobook. That could be something I would look into, but yeah, just not a big reader.
Yeah,
Never
I'm
happened.
with you. I'm with you 110% on that. So
Yeah.
I got audiobook probably in the last 2 years, year and a half. Phenomenal. I do
Thanks.
a lot
Okay.
of road time. It's great. It's great. People read to me. I love it.
I guess an audiobook can kind of be in the same category as a podcast, right? And I like podcasts, so
Yes.
I wouldn't be opposed to an audiobook, but yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yep.
Now, in all fairness, would you say that out of all the podcasts that are led by a former UNI player and a Korean, is this one your favorite that deals with UNI basketball?
This has to be my favorite for sure.
Oh
For sure.
gosh, this is great.
It's already I'm already off to a great start, so this this has to be my
My
favorite.
our
Absolutely.
self-esteem has risen. So
I love it. Good.
so now you
That's
played
awesome.
at Johnson High School
Yep.
in Iowa, right? And so between the graduating years of 2018 and 2021, it seems like half the roster got a college scholarship somewhere. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
amazing. What is it like to play on teams like that?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Chad Gillick. He's had great players. He's a great coach come through that program. And I mean, look at the team right now. You have Allie Tanky, Jenica Lewis, who's like a huge name right now around girls basketball. So just that really rich tradition of good players coming out of Johnston. I mean, it's an honor. My graduating class, we ended up winning the state championships, first time in school history for girls basketball, and that's a huge honor. And we always want to keep that tradition going. So I'm super proud of the girls that are there now, who were even before me. I mean, they led us to where we were and pushed us ever since I was a freshman. So Johnston's just a great school, and they really support girls basketball in that town.
Well, you pretty much own like every scoring and assist record at the school. What was the atmosphere like at those games whenever you broke those records? Did they get sick of celebrating you? Or, I mean, every game you must have been celebrated at one point or another.
So my Johnson's kind of a little bit different because we have an 8 and 9 building. So the eighth graders are in the same building as a freshman, and then you have the sophomore, junior, senior. So when I was a little freshman, I'm in there with Brooke Wilmus, Paige Sieran, a former UNI soccer player, Taryn Knuth, just she coaches for Tulane at volleyball now, and played at Florida State. So I had these like huge, intimidating seniors. I'm coming in as a little freshman, and we played in the old high school as a freshman. So I'm getting used to this new gym. And then they put me into a new school, brand new gym. So it was kind of weird adjusting to that new gym, but I loved it. I thought it was kind of good to have a new fresh start coming into that sophomore year. But I think assisting is one of my favorite things to do, is just sharing the ball and getting my teammates open, putting targets or putting passes on target. And that's just what I love to do.
So let's talk about how you got to UNI then. So obviously you were recruited by some other schools, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How and why did you become a Panther?
I think right now you kind of look at the media and the NIL, and you think, a lot of players want to go big. You want to go Power 5. That's just kind of a big goal, and you should reach for your goals. But I knew realistically with my size, I was going to go mid-major, and it took me, not going to lie, it took me a little bit to kind of process that, because everyone's dream is to go to a bigger school. And finally I got a call from Dixon Jensen. He coaches All Iowa Tech. And he was like, you know what, Maya, you just probably will not get a Power 5. You're more of a mid-major, and you're going to strive in mid-major. I mean, go do what you got to do. And I was so thankful that I got an offer from UNI, and it was close to home. Like you said, I'm from Johnston, and Coach Warren, an amazing point guard at Creighton. So it's like, I knew what I was coming into with that point guard spot, and Carly Rucker being right in front of me. I knew I was going to learn so much from both of them. So I was in a perfect position. Coming from high school, you're kind of like, everyone is kind of that star on their high school team. And then you come to college and everyone's really, really good. So it taught me a lot of patience at first. And I really appreciate that. Like, looking back at that now, it's something that's really helped me improve my game.
Take us back to like fourth, fifth grade.
Yeah.
Were you a multi-sport athlete, junior high, high school? How did that begin for you? And when did you focus like basketball's it? This is what I really want to be.
Yeah, so it took me a while actually, but going back, I started basketball probably around first grade, soccer around the same time. I was a big soccer girl. Like I was probably even naturally better at soccer than I was basketball. I was a forward, played for Sporting Iowa, JUSC, all those club teams up until about high school, but I loved soccer. Like that was like what I wanted to play in college. I was so set on soccer, having these big goals, wanting to be on the USA team, watching Mia Hamm. Yeah. And it was probably about my freshman year where I was like, okay, basketball is what I want to do. I remember there was a thought in my head that I was like, I like basketball practice better. Like I just never liked practicing soccer. Like I never liked going to soccer practice. I hate to admit that. But I just loved basketball practice way more. And I just had so much fun with it. And a lot of my friends stuck with basketball as well. So being around them, having so much fun with basketball and practice and games, knowing, okay, this is probably something I could do outside of high school. I want to go to the collegiate level. And yeah, it took me till about freshman year of high school to realize that. But I played in high school, so soccer and basketball, and I did a little bit of track. I would have done track my senior year, but COVID in 2020, unfortunately, that couldn't happen. But yeah.
Yep.
So Randy's probably loving this because not only is he a former basketball athlete, but he loves soccer more than probably anyone. So I'm curious, and he's curious, who are some of your besides Mia Hamm and the US team, what other soccer teams are some of your favorites?
Oh, that's such a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, like you said, the USA team, that's kind of all I really watch. Love Alex Morgan, loved Carly Lloyd. Just growing up as a kid and watching those girls, like you don't really know what kind of influence they have on you until you're older and you want to make that same impact to little girls and boys. So they had a huge impact on me. I wanted to be just like them. I wanted their jersey. I wanted to do their celebrations on the soccer field. Like I just looked up to them so much. But, who else did I really like? Yeah, I loved Carly Lloyd. She was really, really good. She had like a hat trick in one of the games and I like could not believe it. And it was just like the coolest thing. So just looking up to girls like that, and you want to have a good representation of yourself when you get in this position. So it's always something to look forward to.
Well, I can see how soccer could be a favorite sport of yours because I've seen you play basketball, and basketball wise, you are literally like a pinball in a pinball machine. You are all over the place as fast as possible. Do you even have an off switch at all during the game?
Oh man, you know what? I would say the definition of me, I'm just a gamer. Like Coach Warren's got to get on me a couple times. Maya, stay engaged on defense in practice. I mentioned earlier I wasn't a big practice girl when it came to soccer, and that's something that I need to work on as a player, is being more engaged and focused in practice, because that does translate to games. But I'm a gamer. Like when I get in and I'm in right when tip off happens, like I'm locked in. So I'm always on go when in the games. And now in practice, if you ask Coach Warren, is my focus in practice? I mean, she might say some days yes, some days no, unfortunately. So I do need to get better at that. But yeah, when it comes to tip off, I'm just locked in. I don't really have an off switch when it comes to games.
Well, I was going to ask you, for those young people out there, what kind of drills do you focus on in order to help with that speed and quickness? But it sounds like you really just blow them off, so never mind. So, now it's your turn, though, giving advice to incoming freshmen or potential players at UNI. What kind of advice do you give for those wanting to make the best impression possible to Coach Warren?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I learned early on is literally just the word sacrifice. You make so many sacrifices as a student athlete, especially at the collegiate level. There's times where you want to go hang out with your friends on the weekend. There's times where you want to go to the movies, you want to do all of this, and you got to make sacrifices to put in time for what really matters, and your priorities need to be straight. So being at this D1 level, it's hard. Like there's times where you don't want to be in the gym. There's times where you want to go home and take a nap. There's times where, like I said, you want to hang out with your friends, but you have to, if you want to be really, really good, you have to put the time in. You have to shoot on your own. You have to do ball handling, dribble. Like no one really thinks about doing the basics like ball handling, shooting, all that stuff. Like that's you learn that in 4th and 5th grade. But
Right.
even if you still practice that at the collegiate level, that's gonna help you be better. So I've learned that at a younger age. I mean, my dad used to make me do ball handling dribbles every day. I'm like, Dad, I'm already good at ball handling. I don't need to do that. Well, the more you do it, the better you get. So just working and staying focused on those basic drills and really putting time and effort into it, it's gonna get you a long way. Because I mean, you don't really know what's gonna happen. You don't know when your last practice or game might be. So
And speaking of soccer, I mean that had to also help obviously your endurance, but also your footwork, all of that, right? I mean, so those two sports, in a way, I tell people between basketball and soccer, there's a lot of correlation between the triangle, the passing, the seeing, the anticipation, all that. So that had to be a pretty good sport to translate for you onto the basketball court as well.
yeah, so being a point guard, I like the word you use, anticipate. Being a point guard, you always have to make that anticipation play. And in soccer, where it kind of correlates is I was a forward. So it's
Yeah.
like we got to get the ball to center mid, and then how can it get to me? How can I anticipate what position I'm going to be just to get the ball, pass it back? When I was younger, a lot of my teams would just kick it really far and I'd run and get it because I was just so fast. So high school was kind of the same way. So just playing, it wasn't as structured as you might watch, obviously, with the USA teams in college
Right.
now. But yeah, just anticipation. I think as a point guard, you need to have really, really good instincts. And I think that's something I learned with soccer too.
Now, both you personally and the team have started off a little bit on the slow side of things. What do you think is attributing to that?
Coach Warren has said it a couple times in interviews. I mean, we're just not healthy right now. I hurt my back early on, and it's kind of lingering right now. But I've had some talks with our trainer and Coach Warren. It's just something that you're gonna just have to push through, and it's gonna be painful. I'm already a senior. I'm a 4th year. I'm not gonna feel like a freshman every single day. That's something that kind of hit me like a truck. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting a little bit older. You know, I have to really, really take care of my body. And RG got, or Riley Goebel, sorry, we call her RG. RG got banged up. Grace got banged up. Like there's times, and everyone in the country is dealing with injuries as well. So we know it's not just us. And with a slow start, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna come out of this. But it's how we finish. So we are predicted number 1 in the conference. I mean, conference hasn't started yet, so our goals are still in line, and we know that. But when we have a game and it hits midnight of that day, we forget about it. Win or lose, we can celebrate until midnight, and we can be upset till midnight. And then the next day, we have to come back and we have to want to get better. So we just have to stay disciplined. I know it's hard with injuries, and you never want to make that an excuse, but we'll just come out of this slump and keep being disciplined.
And you, like you just alluded to, we can't go back and change the past, right? But speaking of when the Iowa Hawkeye women came to town, obviously we didn't have the showing we wanted to have, clearly, but the atmosphere had to be pretty cool for you as athletes and as the UNI women's basketball program. That had to be pretty cool for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, just the big name, Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's brought so much publicity to women's basketball, and that's just one of the coolest things. So shout out to her. I mean, her bringing in that crowd, and us. I mean, everyone's here. They were there to support us. So we give a lot of credit to our program too, for bringing that crowd. And unfortunate that it just didn't go our way. I ended up not being able to play, and it's sad. It's just one of those things where you look back and you're like, I mean, yeah, it stinks, but you can't do anything about it now. And we have a huge game this coming Wednesday against Iowa State, and it's going to be the same thing. They have a great crowd at home games, and we're just looking to get that win, and kind of these loses kind of fuel our fire.
Yeah.
For that Iowa game, were there any former, let's say, high school teammates that there was some trash talk before or after the game?
Caitlin and I, it's actually funny, we're talking about soccer. I played soccer with her, and then I also played AAU with her. So Caitlin and I have kind of like a friendly relationship. We've never talked anything like that. So yeah, I don't know what I would do if she started talking crap to me. I don't know. I would probably just laugh. I remember 2 years ago when she got a technical at our place, she just said something to me like, you know, not to make me upset, Maya. Like she'll say stuff like that under her breath, just kind of like friendly stuff like that. But yeah, not a lot of trash talk. Jada Jimfy went to Johnston too, so she'll always say some stuff to me, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of actually. So yeah.
Yeah, she'll say some stuff like, "What's up, Maya? Don't go too crazy," or something, you know, something friendly, but nothing bad.
Yeah.
You always seem to be in a good mood. You always have a huge smile on your face. I swear,
Yeah.
like you and Titan Anderson could probably battle for the biggest smile award.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So tell us about that positive attitude, where you get it from.
Yeah, I think so I live with Kaba, Emerson, and Grace. And I think if you asked any one of them if I'm always smiling, they'll probably say yes. Um, you know what? I've just had just a mindset where I don't really have time to be upset or sad, especially the position I'm in. I don't really have time for that. I mean, there's going to be days where I'm down, but I've always just kind of wanted to keep that positive energy because it radiates so much to other people. That, like I said, there's not gonna every day I'm not gonna be positive, like especially after we lose by 20. The next day I'm probably not going to be very happy, but just keeping that positive mindset, knowing everything's going to be okay, and knowing my life is bigger than basketball. I don't want to have to, you know, focus my emotions and base my emotions off what's going on. Obviously we're 1-8, and I don't want to base my emotions off that right now, not until midnight, like I mentioned before. But yeah, just staying positive. I think if I'm positive, people around me are going to be positive. If I'm smiling, people around me are going to be smiling, and that's what you want. You just want a positive mindset and energy off yourself, and just keep going, just keep smiling.
And since you're a people person, it's more fun to hang out with somebody that's positive and smiling than it is to somebody
100%.
who's always down and frowning, right?
Yeah, exactly. It did, like I said,
Yeah.
it just radiates off to
Yeah.
other people. So,
Very cool.
Now, to those of us who see Coach Warren on the sideline, she's like this tough firecracker type person.
yeah, she
But
is.
what kind of attributes does she have, like behind the scenes, that the rest of us don't see that you do?
Yeah, the biggest lesson Coach Warren has taught me is like, this might sound cliche, but don't take anything for granted. Like I kind of talked about earlier about the advice I was going to give younger girls or boys. She really teaches me, like, really be in the moment, enjoy the moment, be where your feet are, because you never know when an injury is going to happen. You never know when this could be your last game or practice. Just really just staying in the moment and not taking it for granted. She really emphasizes that almost every day in practice, so that will always stick with me. Coach Warren's a great coach. She's a great person, and she's definitely going to leave a mark on me when I'm done here at UNI.
Now you're playing a round robin one-on-one tournament with the coaching staff. Okay, so you're playing each
yeah.
one, you know, and so you're playing till, let's say, 21. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy game each one.
Yeah.
Are you beating Coach Caitlin?
Well, here's the thing about Teo. She is rowdy. Like, she is gonna get in my face. She's gonna talk a little crap. She's gonna, I mean, even it's just her on defense because we're playing one-on-one. She's gonna talk on defense. She's gonna try and get in my head. KO's a shooter though. That's a really good question. I think I got the foot speed advantage. She's gonna try and get in my head. I know it. I let my game do the talking. I'm not really a rowdy person, so that's tough. I think I'm going first game to 21 or like best out of 3.
One game to 21.
I'm winning.
Okay.
I'm like, best out of 3. She might get me on one of those, but I'm winning. I'm
What
gonna let her
about
know
Coach Brad?
Oh, Nelson. I'm winning that. I'm winning that one 21-4.
Okay.
Me and
What about-
KO will be a little bit closer, but yeah, 21-4 with Nelson.
What about Nate?
You know, he's got some handles. He was a point guard back in the day. He sometimes he'll be on the scout team, and he's a good passer. He's got some handles.
He's
foot
fairly
speed
old.
advantage. Yeah, a foot speed advantage. I'm winning that one too.
Yeah. I would take you on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now this one might have to do with some playing time, but what about
Yeah,
Coach Warren?
I gotta be careful what I say with Coach Warren, right? You know what? She would say, we're not playing 20 to 21, we're playing pig. And she would just be shooting some layups and some pull-up J's for pig. I'm beating her in pig. I'm changing it to pig. I'm winning. We normally go for a pair of shoes because we wear the same size. So I'm gonna let her know after this interview, I'm winning a game of pig with some new Nike shoes.
What I want you to do is just check out this video, just the last portion of it. Have you seen this video before?
I think I've seen a little bit of it
Okay.
because I feel like I've seen this picture right here.
Okay. I'll just show you the last portion of the video and
Okay.
won't bore you with the whole thing. So here we go. When you watch it at the end, especially when you see all those autographs being signed and pictures being taken and things like that, what's it feel like when you see kids coming up to you like that?
I mean, it's a great feeling because, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I was in their position once. So you want, whether it's, they call them the big kids, whether it's like a big kid or an athlete or a grown up, like, you know what, you need to leave a great impression on them, because I was in their shoes once and I wanted to hang out with the big kids. I wanted the athlete's autograph. I wanted to take a picture with them. And that type of stuff like makes their day. So I've always known to just say yes to the autograph, take that picture, because I mean they're probably dying to meet you, right? And like the smiles that you see on their face, that's genuine. The smiles you see on our face, that's genuine. I loved that camp. That was a ton of fun, and just meeting them, leaving a good impression on them. I mean, they follow your every move, and when nobody's watching, one person's watching. So yeah.
Yeah, especially in today's setup when you got cameras and they're going on everywhere, right?
Exactly.
So, once again, I just as a grandpa who has kids
Oh, awesome.
had a child who was there, a grandchild who was there, they get so excited, right? And
Yeah.
so thank you. Thanks for being a great role model and once again doing all that stuff, because there's a lot of communities that doesn't happen in, and in Cedar Falls, Waterloo, it's really cool that happens.
Yeah, like I just said, like you think nobody's watching, but one person is watching, whether that's on the phone, in person. So
Yeah.
they're
Yep.
always watching every move, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's time for the Panther Collective Questions of the Week, where we ask you questions directly from the fans. The first question is, what sort of interests and hobbies do you have outside of basketball?
Ooh, I love to I like to go camping. I like to be outside. I like to watch movies. I'm a movie girl, not so much a TV show. I like movies. I was gonna say I like to read as a joke, but I already told you guys I don't like to do that. Yeah, I like to be outside. I like to enjoy the weather and go on walks and stuff like that.
That's cool. Next question. Most memorable game you've had in your UNI career, and why?
Ooh, probably at home versus Drake last year
Nice.
because of the buzzer beater. And I just like beating Drake. If it was anybody else making the buzzer beater, or if we won, I would probably still be top 5. But
Yes.
we won. That's all that matters, and that's
Drake
what
makes it taste better, that's for sure.
exactly. I mean, those are they're a great team, and it tastes good when we beat them anytime. So
Yep.
Well, coincidentally, this has to do with movies again that you brought up, but you're
oh yes,
forced to watch the same movie every day for the rest of your life. What movie would that be?
Wow.
oh that's a great question. Oh gosh. This is probably the hardest question I've ever had to answer.
Yeah, it's like tougher than the ACTs. I mean, this is amazing.
This is like an ACT question. I don't even know.
We'll come
Well,
back to it. You think on it.
Yeah,
you
we can
know,
come back
I'm
to that
gonna
one.
think on that because all this isn't the best movie I've ever watched, but if I could rewatch it, like you said, because it was kind of a trick question. This isn't the best movie I've seen, but if I could rewatch it, like I like Pitch Perfect. I mean, that's just a classic for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
That's not like I said.
Interesting answer.
That's not the best movie I've seen, but I could rewatch it because I know every word.
All right. So here's one from the fan, but I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. It talks about karaoke, right?
Oh yeah.
So number one, what song would you sing? That was from me, not from the fan. And
Okay.
number two, are you better than most or worse than most when it comes to singing karaoke? That
I'm
was
the
from the
best.
fan.
I'm the best. Here, I'm looking at my phone because I gotta think of a song here. I'm the best. I'm the best karaoke person because my voice carries. Me and Grace, if we had a karaoke off on the team, we would win because our voice carries and we're so loud. Oh, that's such a good question of a karaoke song. Me and Grace would probably do something either by Rihanna or Beyonce. Is that, could I answer it with that? Any song by
Absolutely.
them. I think
Absolutely.
I think we could nail that. Me
Because
and Grace.
a fan didn't want to know. I wanted to know that part. So you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good.
So do you feel like in order to get your best voice possible, you feel more comfortable doing it as a duet?
Oh, yes, because when I think of karaoke, I think of it as two people, to be honest with you. I don't
Okay.
know if you think that, but it's almost like a performance when I think of karaoke. So I'm like going back and forth. I'm singing No Air, Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown. That's a back and forth song. That's just so much better. Like that's just, especially because you kind of feed off of each other too, rather than
Uh-huh.
just you. So me and Grace would nail it, no questions
Okay.
asked.
Yeah, this is where all the Pitch Perfect kind of fits right in there. Great, great.
Exactly. And I'm not coming back to that question because that's my answer right there.
Well, if there is one stat or skill that you can magically make superstar level, what would that be? Like improved scoring, steals, rebounds, whatever you want. What would it be?
For me personally,
Exactly.
can I go block shots?
Of course, it's your answer.
So wait, re-say that question again because if I could improve on some or do more of, it'd be assisting. But if
Sure.
I could improve, if I could
Superstar. You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
become superstar level at that
blocking
skill.
shots.
Block shots.
Blocking shots. Because I don't do that now, so that would almost improve my game if I became really good at that.
yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
I
Coach
mean,
Warren.
that's the right answer, I think.
Yeah. Coach Warren would never have to sit you for 40 minutes straight. You'd play all 40
have to
minutes.
tell me to get in help defense because I'm already there with my arms.
This is an interesting question, especially how you answered the earlier ones, because it kind of has to do a little bit with maybe practice.
Okay.
So if you could be coach for the day, what is one drill that you would get rid of immediately?
We do this new closeout drill.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we need it. We need it. So I don't know if I would say that one. Yeah. We do a couple closeout drills because we're struggling on that right now. But piston closeouts is what we call them. I don't like
You
that
know,
one.
So walk through one of these drills with us. We know how awful and horrible these are to take part in.
So you're on the baseline. And you aren't facing the baseline, you're facing the other basket. And slide, close out. So I'm like sliding along the baseline, and then on that free throw line, closing out, then you're sliding again across the free throw line, then you're backpedaling, and then you're sliding towards the end. We do that like 4 times, and when I tell you those legs are burning, granted, it's really good for us. This is a drill that we do need, but I would easily take that one out. Just to specify, like we do need that one, but yeah.
That's awesome.
I would be out after the first one, but yeah. So I can understand. So
Right.
Well, before we let you go, any final words you have for Panther fans?
I know we didn't start off on a super good note, but just stick with us. I mean, we're wounded a little bit, but we're ready to get some wins in the win column, and we're super excited for conference play. We really want to back up, us being number 1. We truly believe we are. And yeah, we're just excited for conference play, and our end goal is still in play, and we want to win that conference tournament. Thanks for your support.
You bet. Wow, Chuck, just once again, a fine example of a student athlete at UNI, who's just a great role model and a great person. Thank you Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate what you do for our community. And the best, here we'll end with this. It's not the quote of the day, but the best is yet to come for UNI women's basketball.
Yep. Refuse
Uh-huh.
to lose. That's our kind of our motto moving forward. So
There you go. Love it. Love it. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
You-
Those were good questions too. I'm gonna have to steal those.
And now for the financial architect's quote of the week. This is in the spirit, Chuck. This one's going to be in the spirit, not too serious, not too deep. All right.
Okay.
When you stop believing in Santa, you get underwear. Or do you ever say that? Like especially when your kids were young, or they're still pretty young, but like when they start to open their present, does anybody say, "Oh, you got underwear"?
This is going to be really strange, Randy. You're going to think this is crazy, but I think just because of the marketing of underwear these days and how
Yes.
you just don't get these silly looking briefs, but you get like these really cool looking, like, boxer
Yeah.
brief type of stuff.
Yeah,
My
right.
boys actually don't mind. They love getting underwear.
That's awesome.
I don't know what it is in the athletic world these days, but like whoever markets the underwear has done an excellent job making underwear really cool.
That's
You're not getting tidy
awesome.
whities.
No tidy whities, which is our day, but yes. So anyway, I just wanted to keep a little light for Merry Christmas and have a Happy
Well,
New Year.
before we leave though, for
Yes.
the year, do you still believe in Santa, Randy?
Oh, absolutely. Because I've never gotten any underwear.
Well, there you go. Use it for your kids, use it for your family, folks, because that quote was good for you, good for me, good for everybody, really. Now it's time to say goodbye from Chuck and Randy. See you next year. Enter the closing music.